Good evening and welcome to this Thursday edition of For FSU Weather. It's October the 24th and I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton.
And I'm student meteorologist Troy Fields. And Shane, it was really just a beautiful day outside, really good for any outdoor weather, just walking around campus, especially you college students like myself, just walking to classes, right, Shane?
Oh yeah, it was wonderful. It's clear and cold out. Some of us got surprised this morning, had to step back inside and grab a jacket. It was so chilly.
Yes, and including myself, even though I'm from the Northeast, with these kind of cold conditions, it still, doesn't hurt to have that winter jacket so you don't get any like frostbites or so to speak. But we have something very interesting to talk about, don't we, Shane?
Yes, in significant meteorological anniversary, it was 8 years ago today that Hurricane Wilma made landfall in South Florida.
Yes, and it was one of the many major hurricanes during the record-breaking 2005 hurricane season. We had 4 major hurricanes make landfall in the United States, with Wilma being the 4th one.
Yes, just remarkable. And it made landfall as a Category 3 and set a record $29.1 billion of damage, making it the 5th costliest hurricane in U.S. history.
And the most important statistic is the fact that while it was in the Caribbean, it set the record for being the most intense hurricane on record, with a pressure of 882 millibars, in fact.
Yes, and now it's time for us to take a look at the overview for our nation.
Yes, and we're going to give you the rundown of the weather headlines, just to reiterate what's going on across here at home. As I already mentioned, fall is setting in across the capital city region, seeing very crisp, cool morning with the overnight lows in the 40s, comfortable afternoons, but we will have the chance for the temperatures to get down into the 30s, and we'll explain that to you later in the show. And as far as your national weather is concerned, we do have a little storm system across the Northeast, and Shane will talk about more of that later in the national. But really, the big story right now is, once again, the gorgeous weather that we're seeing across the Big Bend region. You can see that front that's passed on through, so for the most part, conditions are running very good right now. And, as far as tonight's concerned, temperature for overnight, 44 degrees, so very chilly night in store for us, so you're going to want to have that jacket in the hand. And really, that's going to be the thing going across, going into the weekend, as I already mentioned. We will have the chance for game day, in fact, with temperatures for your overnights in the upper 30s. So Shane, for game day, have that jacket, because it's going to be quite nippy out.
Oh, I definitely will. Now we're going to shift our focus to the Rocky Mountains and the Eastern Great Plains.
Yes, and they are seeing another snowstorm that is coming across the Rockies, and that is ushering lots of cold air, isn't it, Shane?
Oh yes, there'll be lots of cold air moving out of Canada into the U.S., and with that it could reduce temperatures by 20 to 40 degrees over just a matter of a few hours. Very rapid.
Quite a contrast, isn't it? Kind of similar to here. Early in the week we were near summertime record level. Well, not record, but like very high temperatures near the 80s, and now we're 60s and 70s. So quite a difference.
Yes, so just like we saw temperatures go from upper 80s to lows in the 30s, they're also seeing a considerable change in temperature with lots of snowfall associated with that. And now we're going to send it out to the wall for our first local with Jason.
Thanks, guys. And as we were mentioning, it was very crisp heading out this morning. If you're heading to work, you were sitting right around 45 degrees in Tallahassee. Very crisp, like I was saying, and it's going to get only colder going the next few days. Now, of course, Marietta set at 44-degree low today, but we did warm things up as that sunshine was out and about. Right to 76 degrees today was our high. Low, like I said, 45 degrees, so a little more on the winter side of things. We're a little below normal temperatures now. The current conditions outside, though, 72 degrees. Some clouds in the sky, mostly clear day, though. Beautiful day, I would say. Humidity is, like I said, very low. And going to those dew points, though, those dew points are going to the very low numbers, dropping into the 30s and 40s for you. Now, 42-degree dew point for Tallahassee, but look just to the east of it, 37-degree dew point in Perry. So good indication that we're getting some of that dry air from the north, and hence those much cooler conditions on the way. Now, the wind speeds have certainly dropped in the past 24 hours. Now recording any 0 miles an hour in Tallahassee, 1 miles an hour at Mount Monticello. Basically, a good indication that we're only going to get colder tonight, as radiational cooling effects is called, that will help us to get cooler with those calm winds. Sound radar, though, not showing very much in the picture. A beautiful day once again. We had a couple of blobs that the radar did pick up from, and actually I do want to mention we just to the southeast of Apalachicola, we do have a fire going on, so you may see some plumes of smoke going to the next day or two. So that smell of smoke could be outside from the fire going on in Apalachicola. But overall in Tallahassee, not very much going on. A beautiful day in general. Broadening out things, though, what's happening around the southeast? Well, there's that cold front that's making its way. Some showers associated to central and southern portions of Florida. But really, nothing much going on else for Tallahassee. We have another reinforcing cold air that will be entering the region going to the next day. And the futurecast, as I put this into motion, see there's much cooler temperatures coming down. As another reinforcing of that cool air that will be moving into the region going to the later parts of the weekend. So that means some very cool temperatures into your forecast, especially for the game day of NC State. Could see around even to 39 degrees potentially in the low-lying areas. Now, tonight's forecast, though, 44 degrees. A certainly chilly night. You want to bring out the jacket, of course. Overall, clear, beautiful night, though. So once again, going to tomorrow, warming right back up to the mid-70s, 75 degrees. We would say a lot of sunshine once again and cool conditions. So next 3 days, sunshine, coolness, dry air. That's what I like to see going to the weekend. Now, this next 7 days, though, look at sunshine once again. Most of the picture here, warming gradually back up into Monday and Tuesday. We'll see those clouds begin to return. But overall, temperatures moderating, though, in the mid-70s. And look at that, by Saturday morning, 40 degrees. So certainly a chilly one, folks. You want to bundle yourselves up. You're heading out to the NC State game. However, though, we're going to go ahead and take it around to the southeast, though, with Jay. Jay, what about those frost warnings, actually, into the southeast?
Yeah, there's a couple of them out there. It's looking pretty bad up in the northeast. As we look at the national when it comes up, as it slowly comes up, it's going to bring a lot of cool air coming down from the north. So as you see now, we have 71 in Orlando, 76 in Tallahassee, 81 in Miami. But if you're in Key West, it's pretty warm down there still because that cold front. It's going to come in, it's going to cool them off a little bit more. But when it does, it's going to be nice and cool down there. As you look at the current conditions, 69 in Orlando, 72 in Tallahassee. Again, Key West, still in that 80s. Hopefully, when the cold front comes in, it's going to cool you off a little bit more. Look at the current dew points. It's still pretty cool in Tallahassee. But if you're in the southeast, you're still getting a lot of humidity, so it's looking pretty bad down there. But hopefully, when that cold front comes in, it's going to cool off and bring nice, cool temperatures. As you look at the radar right now, you see some nice showers still in the southeast. But again, when that cold front comes in, it's going to move that out, and you finally have some nice, good sunshine. I know you've been desperate for it. As you look at the futurecast, there's going to be abundant sunshine coming in. So again, make sure you have those coats coming in because that cold front will come in and will cool you off and will bring in nice, cool temperatures later on throughout the week. As you look at Friday going up into, I look at Washington warning, in fact, if you see here, the blues indicate the frost warnings and the light blue represents the freeze warning. So if you're in the Northeast, if you're in like North Carolina, South Carolina, even in Tennessee, you will have those warnings. So make sure you are very prepared for it because they will be expected. So look out for it. It will happen. As you look at tonight's forecast, 44 in Tallahassee, that's pretty cold. Make sure you stay bundled up because you don't want to have your temperature heat drop to a very low level and you have to go to the hospital. That'll be bad for everyone. As you look at Orlando, 60, not bad over there. 71 Miami, 75 in Key West. They have some pretty good temperatures all around. As you look at tomorrow's forecast, it's nice, cool temperatures all around. 83 in Key West, 83 in Miami, 81 Orlando. Overall, pretty good temperatures. As you look at Tallahassee, 73, still very nice in our area. As you look at the next graphic as we continue along, as it slowly comes up, we're going to have those cold front coming in later on Friday all the way up to Saturday. So it's going to bring a lot cooler temperatures. But overall, it's going to be nice, cool conditions overall. Now let's send it back to the desk.
Alrighty, thank you, Jay. Very beautiful weather once again. But we're going to, fast forward a little bit to winter. Of course, it's not here yet. But for those in the northwest, skiing is on the horizon.
Oh yes, we're expecting to let all the avid skiers in the Northwest know that they're in for a pretty good snow season ahead.
Yes, experts are predicting so far an above average snowfall season, and so what that means, very good news for ski lovers across the country, particularly in the Rockies section.
Yes, in fact, Troy, 3 ski resorts are already open in Colorado due to significant snowfall.
Yes, and according to Tom Horrocks, a spokesperson for the Ski Country Ski Series Association, he's expecting that due to the cold, shots that we've been getting over the past few days, a couple of weeks, in fact, is really going to, be very perfect conditions for any ski lovers. And Shane, hopefully you're going to be mentioning that in your national, right?
Yes, now we're going to broaden our scope to the entire United States. And the story really is a tale of two regions. It's getting cooler in the east and warmer in the west. And in fact, indicated by some of the temperatures on our map right now, it's 63 in Atlanta, and it's 49 up there in Seattle. They're still feeling a little chilly. But look at this warm spot on the map, 90 degrees in Phoenix. So you can see these warmer temperatures in the west and southwest, and the cooler air that's just being pushed down into our region here in the southeast, which we can indicate for you here on this radar. See these tunnels of clouds just swooping down here into our region of the southeast around a low pressure system centered over the Midwest, bringing them plenty of precipitation, even some wintry precipitation, we understand. And it's primarily clear out here in the west. They're not under the influence of a major snow system just yet, but one is on the way, as we discussed at the desk. Now we're going to focus in here on some watches and warnings, also some advisories across the heartland over the Midwest. There are a lot of freeze warnings in effect, also some freeze watches and frost advisories as we dip further down into the southeast. Some counties not far north of our viewing area. Now, we're focusing in on western Pennsylvania. They're having some lake effect snow warnings at the moment associated with this low pressure system. Here we see all this moisture moving steadily westward. As we move our gaze westward, we see all this rainfall coming off the Great Lakes, Ontario and Erie, some of that becoming wintry, and that's why our lake effect snow is in watch is in effect. Here in South Florida, we see the last effects of that cold front that moved through our region gave us quite a wet Tuesday, giving them just a little leftover moisture. Now we're broadening our scope, looking at airport delays, and what can I tell you? Across the whole country, it looks gorgeous. There were some delays in San Francisco earlier. As for tonight across the U.S., there's that well-defined line of cold to much colder to our north. 30 degrees for low in Minneapolis, 39 in Boston. Looking at 44 here in the capital city, 38 in Salt Lake City. Now tomorrow will get quite comfortable again with high of 73 projected here in the southeast. Some cooler lows in the 50s in the northeast, and the warm spot again, Phoenix at 86. And now let's send it off to Tawana for our next local.
Thank you very much, Shane. It started off quite chilly today, almost like Jack Frost was visiting us and nipping at our little noses and such. But Mr. Sunshine definitely made a showing and warmed us right back up. We hit a high of 76 when we started out at 45, so that's like almost a 30-degree jump throughout the day. I bet you felt it, just had to peel off those layers today like crazy. But currently in our area, 72 is our current temperature, mostly cloudy, and if you do go out, there's that smell of smoke from fires just south of Apalachicola. So be aware that is what it is that will be affecting us for a little while. 72 is our current temperature, as I just said. A little bit warmer in St. Mark's, lucky them at 75. And Carabal's not so lucky, a little bit cooler than we are at 71. For our dew points, however, relatively dry in our area. Despite what we had for the past week or so, look at this. 42 for the dew point. That massive gap between the actual temperature and the dew point shows how dry it is. So girls, your hair will not frizz. I'm so happy, and I bet you are as well. For the dew point is also 46 over in Quincy and 45 in Bainbridge. Satellite and radar just shows right now that cold front that affected us, that is bringing us that cooler weather, is still lingering over the peninsula of Florida, affecting Orlando and giving Miami some showers and some storms right now. I know they're not so happy about the rain, but some farmers out there, I'm sure, are very, very grateful. But eventually that will scoot on out and another front will come in. And we have that cool temperatures right now, but guys, it's gonna get cooler. It's just gonna scoot in and scoot past us and bring in those cooler air, almost 40 degrees for lows. And north of us, patchy frost. So if you are heading farther north, beware of that. Frost could be on your cars, so you might have to scrape that off. Not the most Fun thing to do, but necessary nonetheless. So those cooler temperatures will be amazing, especially for the game on Saturday. You will have to bundle up, so bring your sweaters, your scarves, and your love of the Seminoles. For our boating forecast for tomorrow, it's going to be chilly out on the water, but exercise some caution. There will be lots of sunshine, but the waves are going to be 2 to 3 feet, so be careful if you do decide to go out. For tonight, chilly. It actually feels a little bit like winter and a little bit less like fall. Clear overnight, however, with a low of 44 degrees. And for tomorrow, 75 for the high. Sunshine, beautiful, nothing to complain about. As I step out of the way, 7-day, you see we dip down for a high of 72, on Saturday, and just a constant warm up throughout the week. But Nina and Alex have a little bit more to say about a hurricane that happened in the past. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, that hurricane that happened in the past was indeed Hurricane Wilma back in October. It did make landfall in the late October and brought in a lot of cold air, as we're seeing right now.
Yes, it did, bringing in that cold front and cooling us down and drying us out later in October, just like Wilma did, and just like is happening right now.
Yes, and we're going to continue to see these cold temperatures throughout the next couple of days. Into our next work week, we're going to start seeing it seasonal again. However, there is a big story out in Europe. We have this big storm about to impact them.
Yes, there is an extratropical storm that is going to be impacting England. It's supposed to make landfall around Wales in England and is going to affect all of Spain and Hispaniola with a lot of rain. Approximately 1 to 2 inches is expected, as well as flooding in localized low-lying areas and on highways. So over in England, we wish you luck with your travels, and we'll take a look into what the satellite looks like. That's spinning right there. That right there is the storm, and is the extratropical storm. It has no name because they do not do a hurricane system in Europe, because this type of storm is rare. Hispaniola right here, and Spain, England up to the north, and that storm is going to be bringing in lots of rain. So worries for them. We will keep an eye on it. Current conditions around the state of Florida, fantastic in the area. 68 in Jacksonville at the moment. They are cooling down as the sun is starting to set off to the east. 69 in Orlando and a beautiful 72 in Tallahassee across the state of Florida. Now we will see the dew points for the state of Florida a lot drier than they have been. 42 degrees in Tallahassee, very dry, as well as 47 degrees in Jacksonville. As we head further south in the spine of Florida, 55 degrees in Orlando, a little bit more muggy and a lot muggier down in the south around Miami and Key West at 68 degrees in Miami and 70 degrees in Key West, making them feel oppressive and muggy because they do not have that dry front in their neighborhood. And we will see, because of all of this moisture coming across the satellite and radar, bringing them little bits of rain off of the Gulf and a little bit into Miami-Dade and Clearwater, bringing them a little bit of moisture. Clouds extending up around Gainesville, but here in Tallahassee we are seeing that it is very clear. Now, Futurecast radar, the Adonis, is going to show us that that moisture is going to move a little bit, bringing in a little bit of moisture into Miami, but by Friday is going to be moving out and is going to be drying out for the rest of the peninsula, bringing them beautiful weather, because that cold front is going to be moving in to the east, taking cool weather and making it cooler. We are expecting those temperatures to drop into the upper 30s, lower 40s, frost advisories for Alabama and Georgia for the rest of the week and the weekend. Now we will see tonight's forecast, beautiful, cool, a lot cooler than it has been. Expected 44 degrees in Tallahassee, 49 degrees in Jacksonville, 53 degrees in Pensacola. They are a little bit warmer because they are on the coast. And of course, down the spine of Florida, warmer, 63 degrees in Fort Myers and 71, beautiful, in West Palm Beach, beautiful across the area. Now tomorrow, 72 degrees in Jacksonville, very sunny, 73 degrees in Tallahassee, sunny across the state, except for West Palm Beach. They are expecting a little bit of rain into tomorrow, but it should clear out by the rest of the weekend. Now we are going to send it back into the desk segment where we're going to talk about some fantastic stuff with Nicole across the area.
Thank you so much, Nina. Actually, yeah, we're going to hit on the tropics first, and thankfully the tropics have been quiet this year. We have only had 2 named storms, in Ingrid and Umberto, so we've only reached a Category 1, and thankfully Lorenzo is staying quiet. If we look at the tracks for this time of year in late October, they really generally run up the coast of the Atlantic, as that is where the warmer water is. So that's where the storms really focus. And if you look at Lorenzo really did just shred up a little bit. We have a little low pressure system right now that has really broken apart a lot. And as we move it forward a little bit more, there really isn't too much to talk about. If you see right here, it's pretty broken up. There's not too much to say. This is what we call a fish storm, as only the fish are affected. So thankfully, there is no threat to us, and this storm is really just pushing off into the northeast of the Atlantic. So thankfully for us, there is no threat. However, as we move forward into the Caribbean, into the Gulf of Mexico, we do have a little bit of convection going on, and convection is just a lot of thunderstorms that are popping up into the Gulf of Mexico, into the Yucatan Peninsula. Now this is because of that cold front that pushed through us earlier this week into Tuesday. We did have those showers and storms push on through, so there is a little bit of pop-up going on, so we will stay tuned and focus on that. As of now, there is no threat for us, so thankfully we are in the clear. However, moving on to our 24-hour temperature change, we dropped 3 degrees here in Tallahassee. If you remember from just a few days ago, we dropped 34 degrees. So the temperatures are still dropping into the week, and you can really see how this cold front has pushed down. It has dropped 6 degrees in Gainesville, 9 degrees in Orlando in the past 24 hours. So we are dropping down as that cold front pushes through, and fall is officially on its way. Currently, it is 72 in Tallahassee, 69 in Gainesville as that cold front is pushing through, 70 in Valdosta, 71 in Albany, and 68 in Macon at this current hour. Tonight's forecast, those temperatures are dipping down even further. 44 in Tallahassee. It is officially jacket weather, people, so make sure you pull out that winter gear, bring on the scarves and layers, because it is time for that nice hot cocoa weather. 51 in Panama City, 53 in Pensacola, 41 in Montgomery. If you notice those blues, that is where the cooler temperatures that everyone has been speaking of, they are pushing on down for another bout of fall. Tomorrow's forecast, again, those cooler temperatures. 73 is our high in Tallahassee, 70 in Valdosta, 77 in Gainesville. And taking a look at all those dry conditions in our future cast, again, we don't have too much to speak of. The rain is to the south of the peninsula, and for our weekend sneak peek, we don't have too much to talk about. We have those crisp mornings coming ahead and the comfortable afternoons. Great for game day. Hey, Alex and Nina, any weekend plans coming up for you besides the game, of course?
We do. However, I would like to make a correction. I was saying Spain and Hispaniola, and I meant to be referring to Spain and Portugal, as that storm will be impacting them. But turning things back to Tallahassee for the weekend, we are looking at some exciting events coming up in the next few days.
Yes, we do. We have 3 main events going around campus, and one of them is the Haunted Harvest, and that's at the Union tomorrow from 7 to midnight. And is it free?
It is free if you have an FSU ID, as well as the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is happening tonight and tomorrow. The doors open at midnight. You might want to get there early because the lines are big for this show.
Yes, indeed. And we also have the Circus Halloween show on the 24th and 25th. Doors open at 8 p.m. and it's going to be, the show starts at 7. The show starts at 8 and the doors open at 7 p.m. However, for our last local, we're going to bring it back to Tracy.
And as you can tell, that was sitting at 45 degrees. But as the morning has progressed, we did see temperatures start to rise. So as you might have been bundled up for your day with like sweaters and jackets, you were slowly peeling those off as we did reach a high of 76 today. Now, that's sitting just a little bit lower than our normal average of 79, but that's pretty consistent with what we've been seeing. Our current conditions right now, we are seeing temperatures sitting at 70. It has come down a little bit, but our dew point is something we should really look at. We're sitting at 42 degrees, so that's just below that. Making those temperatures a little bit more comfortable for you.
42 degrees. 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 42
less sticky. Now our current temperatures, we're sitting at 72 degrees, as I said, but that's pretty consistent with the Big Bend area. We are seeing 73 across the board and more of the 71s and 72s across the coast. Point is, like I said, we are sitting at about 42 degrees in Tallahassee, and then across the board you're noticing that everybody else is experiencing that really comfortable air, nothing muggy. It's quite wonderful outside, so really take advantage of it. Our winds, they're all kind of doing this scattered thing right now, but you can definitely see the winds coming off the coast, just bring just a slight breeze, nothing really too strenuous or strong for our area. Now here, you can see that cold front that just pushed through. So it's kind of traveling down through the peninsula of Florida, which is bringing all this nice dry air for our area. You're going to see lots of sunshine. It's going to be so beautiful as we carry on. But as we go through our weekend, temperatures are going to stay consistently cool, but then we're going to see another cold front push through, bringing cooler temperatures. So we might see temperatures drop more into our upper 30s. And even here up in Alabama and Georgia, we're going to see some patchy fog, which are frost that could drop more into our area, but I will see more as the day goes on, or the week, as I should say. Tonight's forecast is going to be 44 degrees in Tallahassee. And then tomorrow's forecast is going to be pretty consistent with today, sitting at about 75 degrees. It's still going to be nice and sunny outside. Our 7-day forecast, it is going to be starting at about 72 degrees on Saturday and progressively getting warmer. We are going to see temperatures be in the lower 40s, rising up to the upper 50s, but it's going to be beautiful consistently throughout the week. And now bringing it back to the desk with Nina and Alex.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Tracy. Now, I'd like to point something to that segment that Tracy had just done with the almanac, and it pointed at 1941 with that high record of 91 degrees. Hard to believe right now, seeing as we're sitting at a nice chilly 50, but imagine 91 degrees.
Yes, very much so. But in 1996, it was a little bit cooler than average with a low of 34.
34 degrees. So you can imagine that big contrast, and that's what I really like about the almanac, is that you can really see the extremes from one end to the other. It's almost fall. It's almost like true fall time in November, and you get temperatures at 91 degrees. That would be quite astonishing. Thank goodness we don't have to see that. Thank goodness we're finally moving into fall, and you can clearly see that with our 7-day forecast.
Yes, beautiful weather across the board. We are looking to see on Saturday possibly lows reaching into upper 80s. But is going to be beautiful across the board. Beautiful for game day. You might want to bring a jacket though, because as those evening hours progress, it's going to be getting chillier because the wind is going to be picking up and it's going to be very cool outside into the area. But if you like us, you can follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook /FSU Weather. And you can also watch us anytime on live stream. But from here, from Nina and Alex, have a nice night.